It is the song that shot the Dixie Chicks to the top of the charts in America and overseas. Not Ready to Make Nice is the band's answer to criticism and even death threats they received after slamming President Bush in public.
But they didn't write it alone. The Dixie Chicks turned to a musician from Minnesota for help, and it certainly was not the first time local songwriters have written what might be called protest music. In tonight's Extra, KARE Scott Goldberg explores the past and future of music with a social message.
When the Dixie Chicks decided to say they still don't like the president, they wanted to say it well.
I'm not ready to make nice. I'm not ready to back down.
So 3 years after lead singer Natalie Maines told a London concert crowd the band was ashamed that President Bush is from Texas, the band turned to Minnesota for help writing round 2.
Well, the heartland is a good word to use. I mean, it's coming from the heart.
It's too late to make it right. I probably wouldn't if I could.
The song Not Ready to Make Nice, like 5 others on the Dixie Chicks' new album, was co-written by former Semisonic lead singer Dan Wilson. Gary Loris of Jayhawks fame helped with another 4.
They write songs from the heart and from a personal point of view, which obviously, in a case like the Dixie Chicks, has some political implications.
Radio host Mark Wheat says putting feelings into music is a Minnesota tradition.
I think Minnesota, if you think back, from Bob Dylan, obviously, up through the years, Minnesota songwriters just reflect the community that they live in.
It might not be a straight line from Dylan to Dixie, but there is a pattern here.
He absorbed so much growing up on the Iron Range.
Colleen Sheehy, the curator of an upcoming Bob Dylan exhibit at the Weissman, says you can hear the working class influences of Hibbing, Dylan's childhood home, in his music.
The answer, my friend, is a blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
That really infuses his music, and I think it gave him kind of a feeling for the folk culture and folk history.
Fast forward a few years.
I've always thought this is an interesting aspect of Prince's music that people don't really comment on.
Prince came of age during the Cold War. His 1981 Controversy album included a track called Ronnie Talked to Russia.
Even 1999, his big hit, if you listen to the lyrics, it's about we're going to be bombed any day. And I think he shares this with Dylan, a really strong focus on personal liberation.
It's been nearly a quarter of a century since Prince released 1999. And today, Minnesotans, motivated by war, politics, or whatever's going on in their neighborhoods, continue to inject political and social messages into their music.
Hey, Senator.
Mason Jennings, who wrote the Ballad of Paul and Sheila after the Wellstones died in 2002, was just signed by a major label. And underground, there's a hip-hop movement trying to shake up Generation Y.
I'm trying to create dialogue and raise awareness. And
Sims is one of 10 young artists who belong to a collective called Doomtree.
A lot of times where just wake up, a beat's playing.
They work, and some of them live, in a rented house near Uptown. They help each other produce CDs, trying to copy the success of Minneapolis rap group Atmosphere.
They started with printing 1,000 CDs and then printing another 1,000 CDs, and that's what we did. This is my song.
Sims wrote a rap called 15 Blocks in the days before the war in Iraq.
Death meets my breath in the wide mouth yawn, while the prez meets the press on the White House lawn. I spend my days a wreck, my nights trying to shake it off, and they say we're lost, and I say you're right.
The Doomtree crew says it doesn't have a political agenda, but politics often creep into these 20-somethings songs.
I'm not afraid to say what's on my mind, and a lot of people are, and I don't get it.
Not far away, a member of another generation released a CD about the same lead-up to the same war. Record store owner Mark Trias combined his talents with the punk rock group Dillinger 4.
I helped the band arrange the song, and then I quote-unquote sang.
Their remake of Bob Dylan's Masters of War sold 2,000 copies. All proceeds go to charity.
Well, it's a 40-year-old song that was still relevant.
Trias makes it quite clear this wasn't about his ego.
This is not good.
The CD was about the war and war policy.
I knew in my heart that it was wrong, and I wanted to do something to take some kind of stand.
In other places, other people have other feelings.
Brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
Country singer Toby Keith proclaimed putting a boot up the enemy's backside was the American way. In concert, he projected pictures of Natalie Maines standing next to Saddam Hussein. Which brings us back to the Dixie Chicks and, in a way, to Minnesota.
I'm not sure if the geography is the main, link that links them all together, but it can't be coincidence.
The Dixie Chicks' new album debuted at #1. It was pushed there by songwriters from an extended Minnesota family with a history of turning strong feelings into hits.
They say time heals everything, but I'm still waiting.
Scott Goldberg, KARE 11 News.
While the Dixie Chicks' album sales have been very strong, Billboard magazine says the group may have to cancel some of their tour dates because of slow ticket sales. They're scheduled to play the Target Center here in August. For more information about some of the other artists in this story, you can check out Scott's blog on KARE11.com.